Welcome everyone back to the NGIF show. This is of course the show where we talk every week about anything that mattered in the areas of nerds, geeks, or internet freaks. First thing we're talking about this week is no Blizzcon in 2012. Now, I know a lot of people have already heard about this, but it's big news. I, for one, really can't believe it. I was shocked when I heard this. It's really disappointing, you know. A lot of people look forward to Blizzcon every year. I know myself. I watch it every year with the online pass. It's always worth the $40. Just getting to have all that information released to you, yeah, sure, you know. I know a lot of people don't like to spend the $40 because you can just find out all the information on MMO Champion or wherever you get your information from. But, you know, it's really disappointing. A lot of people look forward to Blizzcon every year. There's usually a lot going on. It's a great event to watch or to be a part of or to learn from. And it's a big part of Blizzard culture, I think. So for them to just not have it was really shocking. But, you know, the reason they gave for it is that they're not going to have a lot to talk about. This year, in 2012, we're going to see the release of Mists of Pandaria for World of Warcraft. We're going to see Diablo 3, and we're going to see the StarCraft 2 expansion, part of the Swarm. Now, I still think that they probably could have had a BlizzCon, but, you know, there's all the different reasons that they could give us for not having the BlizzCon, and I kind of understand. But another thing that we have to look at is, when is Titan supposed to come out? Because if you look at the project slate that was leaked years ago, it's been accurate up to this point, except for, I think there's one thing, it slips my mind right now what it was, but there was, I think, one thing that wasn't accurate on that product slate, and that thing says that we're going to get Titan in 2013. But, you know, really, there's been no information released about Titan. There was the article, or the Blizzard's looking for somebody to fill a position for an ad campaign for Titan, or their next-gen MMO. But, you know, that's something that hopefully we'll hear about maybe at another event. I mean, Blizzard is going to be hosting 5 Continental World Championship tournaments. So this is obviously going to fill in for the StarCraft tournament and World of Warcraft tournament that we're used to seeing every year at BlizzCon. There's going to be 5 different ones on 5 different continents. And some people are saying, well, you know, maybe we'll get some information there, which is something that they did with StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 was announced in Korea a couple years ago, and that's how they did it at a major tournament. So it's a possibility that we might see some information about Titan then, but who's to really say? It's kind of a complicated situation. But, you know, I was just bummed that they're not going to have BlizzCon. I mean, it's just such a cool event, and there's always so much to learn about and to watch and to absorb, and I was really disappointed. I wish they would just have it, but I understand that it makes sense. You know, they have a really full schedule, and it costs them a lot of money, a lot of effort from their staff, you know, on a volunteer basis to put that whole thing together. So, I mean, I kind of understand it, but it's just it's a sad day in Blizzard history. Next up, of course, though, is the announcement of the Guild Wars 2 beta. Now, for people who don't know, Guild Wars 2 is, of course, the game. It is the sequel to Guild Wars 1, obviously. And the big thing that they're, you know, talking about doing in the MMO genre is getting rid of the Holy Trinity. For those of you who don't know, the Holy Trinity is tank, DPS, and healer. It's a situation that we've all been used to. It's something that we've worked with in pretty much every MMO that we've played. And, you know, they want to get rid of that. They say that they want to kind of homogenize all of the classes, so that way you don't have to have a tank, healer, DPS setup. Personally, I like the Holy Trinity. It makes sense. You know, you have your tank, and he holds aggro and takes the damage from the boss, and you have your damage, and they do damage, and you have your healers, and it keeps everybody alive. It's kind of cool to see a homogenization to a point, but I still think that we should have the Holy Trinity. You know, in Star Wars The Old Republic, they have somewhat of a homogenization. You still have, you know, your rogues are casting long lightning spells, or your mercenaries are using guns to heal people and do damage. And I like how that works. I like the idea of a little bit of homogenization. You know, it's kind of a bummer that, oh, well, I'm a healer, so I'm just going to be healing, or I'm a DPS, so I'm just going to be doing damage. But I think an overall elimination of the Holy Trinity flat out is a little daunting. I don't know. It kind of scares me as an MMO player. I don't see how it would work very well. But, you know, another thing about Guild Wars 2 is that they're saying that they're not going to have an endgame, which I mean, yes, they're going to have an endgame, but they're saying that it's not going to be a major part of the game, that the leveling experience is going to be the game. An endgame is just going to be stuff for you to do when you reach max level. But, you know, Guild Wars 2, it's got a lot of hype around it. A lot of people are really excited. Personally, I plan on trying the game. It looks entertaining at least. But the beta is coming out in March. That's when people will start being able to test the game in an open beta format. I think right now they're doing like friends and family, which we always see with Blizzard games, so that's nothing new. But that's a big deal for a lot of people. I know that Guild Wars 2, they were taking a while to release information, and people were bummed, really, that there wasn't a lot to go off of, and we were only getting like snippets here and little bits of information here. And I think a lot of people are really excited to find out that the beta's coming out. Next up, we have the NAO Invitational Tournament. This is a tournament being hosted by Curse.com and some other affiliates. It is a player-driven tournament, arena tournament match for World of Warcraft, and it's really exciting to see something like this happen. You know, we're used to having to have tournaments kind of set up by major companies, and it's a big endeavor. So to see something that's simply sponsored but created by the player base is really interesting, and it kind of gives some light to where esports are headed and how, you know, maybe one day we'll see local gaming leagues the same way we have a local bowling league, or how the kids play in school on a county basis and stuff like that. I think it's a really interesting project. But right now they have the qualifiers going on, and we're going to be able to watch the finals of the tournament on February 17th, 18th, and 19th. So get excited for that. Be sure to go to MMO Champion or Curse.com, and there's going to be lots of information about that. You're going to want to watch the tournament. Should be great. I'm really excited. Finally, we have patch 4.3.2, that's a mouthful, on Tuesday, which will be not tomorrow, but the next day. And in that patch, I think a big thing that a lot of PvPers are really excited about is a nerf to Vial of Shadows. Vial of Shadows is going to proc about 1/3 of the damage that it currently does, so you're not going to see quite as much burst from rogues in arena situations, which I know that a lot of Warlocks are letting out a sigh of relief with that bit of information. With the rest of the patch, we're seeing some minor changes to some of the 2-set and 4-set tier bonuses for tier 13. They're adding in some trading card game mounts, or items. We have the Feldrake, of course, and the Eye of the Legion companion pet, so that's cool, but trading card game stuff is something that a lot of us don't get to get our hands on, so it's kind of disappointing that those items aren't being released otherwise in the game. But so, you know, it's not a really big patch. It's got some minor changes. I think the thing that people are really excited about are the Vial of Shadows. Alrighty, guys, so that's everything this week. There's a lot more I want to talk about, but specifically, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing a special episode about the Mists of Pandaria talent trees and their poised effects in PvP. I hear a lot of people talking about how the talent trees are going to ruin World of Warcraft and it's going to be devastating. And oh my god, the talent trees are so bad. And I just see so many reasons that that's entirely not true, and I'd love to explain it to you guys. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing it today or tomorrow, but sometime in the next couple of days, keep an eye out for a special edition episode. It's not going to be the Sunday show. It'll be its own separate entity, and all I'm going to talk about are the Mists of Pandaria talent trees and their effects in PvP. So once again, guys, thanks for watching the NGIF show. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Click that like button. It helps me out a lot if you like the video, of course. Favorite it, comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the special edition and on Sunday.